Hello and welcome to episode 89 of the Bootnerds podcast. I almost forgot which episode we were. JayMike, what's going on?
Oh, today is going to be a good day, my man. I have been looking forward to this day ever since we decided on that last week, and it's going to be. We're basically just going to talk Mercurial today. It's going to be awesome. You guys really wanted to see us rating all the colorways of the Mercurial Vapor 13. Or the Superfly 7. That's basically, well, we decided on the Mercurial Vapor 13, so that's what we're going to do today. I love talking about Mercurial, so this is going to be good, and I'm generally awesome. How are you?
I'm doing good. Something occurred to me today. I was leaving the gym. It's getting cold here. Winter is now upon us.
Yes.
I'm leaving the gym. I just took a shower, so my hair is still kind of wet.
Okay.
It's cold. It's a little bit windy, and because your hair is wet, your head gets really cold. Yeah. It was really just like maybe 30-meter walk to my car. And I'm like, I got in the car and I'm like, man, am I going to get sick? And then it occurred to me, I'm like, is this just a wise tale that your parents tell you as an 8-year-old to make you wear a coat? Are you really going to get sick from just being cold for like 10 seconds?
I don't know. There's a lot of people saying like that it's actually not the cold that makes you, that makes you get the cold doesn't give you a cold. Is basically what I'm trying to say. The virus gives you a cold.
And that's exactly why, because as viruses are so relevant these days,
yeah.
It just occurred to me. I'm like, they have like cryotherapy where you get cold on purpose, and that doesn't make you sick. It's apparently good for you. So I don't know. Something to think about, audience.
Yep. If we have any doctors here, maybe they can shed some light on what goes on. I mean, if those are the kind of random thoughts that pop into your head, then nice. It must be there's a lot of stuff going on there.
It's a good morning.
But as long as you're happy. Josh, today we're going to talk about, as we said, all the Mercurial colorways that have come out so far. And when we decided to do that, I thought, okay, that's going to take a while to compile a list. But the thing is that we have the most awesome user base, listener viewer base in the world. And one of you guys called Jack Yang, you absolute legend, man, actually sat down and compiled a list of all 28 colorways. He said, "You're welcome." Jack, thank you very much. That was absolutely, like mythical work. Not even legendary, it's mythical. It's absolutely awesome. So we're just going to base it off of your list. If there's anything missing, it's our bad because we got super relation. Just we hope it's complete. It looks complete.
It's a level of effort that probably could have delayed this episode several weeks.
Yeah, I'm not saying we're lazy, but we're kind of lazy.
Yeah. Also, before we get into the main topic here, there is a sponsor for today's episode, and it does involve new colorways, and that is Pure Grip socks, of course, which are now available. The socks. Goalkeepers, we've been thinking about you. Also, people that just like very flashy things. You can now get Pure Grip socks in neon yellow or neon pink. Both very, very cool. And should you need some sleeves to match your socks, you can get those now in 6 new colorways, including the pink and the yellow. And we've added maroon, we've added gray, we've added forest green, and we've added purple for everyone that's been requesting these. $10 for the sleeves, $14.99 for the socks. They're all available at puregripsocks.com. And for those that have been asking why we didn't do the socks in all of the new sleeve colors as well, what we've been noticing is that a lot of people are either ordering black or white socks and then just pairing it with whatever color sleeves that they want, especially given the prevalence of mid-cut boots that are kind of covering up that lower part of your ankle anyways. So we had to prioritize certain things, and it just seemed like doing the sleeves, at least to start. I'm not saying that we won't come out with the socks in those colors in the future. That's what we're doing for now. But if you are interested in any of these new colors, they are available now at puregripsocks.com. Get them. Hopefully they don't sell out, but we'll see what happens.
I just wanted to point out, and we're going to talk about, we can, for your sake, and I guess you're going to plug it anyway, we can talk about, color matches with the socks when we go through all the Mercurials. I just thought of the roses when you showed those pink socks and sleeves. That would be a match made in heaven.
Pretty epic combo for sure.
I'm just putting it out there. But Josh, let's start off with Jack Jack Yang's list. We're going to, as per usual, we're going to rate it with the more traditional rating system. We're not going to go with the SR4U string bag rating system. That will be slightly confusing, although, of course, it does make a lot of sense if you really think about it. But we're going to rate them out of 10 like we did with the shirts. We're going to go through everything. And then at the end, we're going to wrap it up, give our top 3 best colorways of the Mercurial in 2020 and 2019. So, yeah, let's start off with the list. I have it right here. The New Lights colorway, that was the launch colorway. Pardon my lacing. It's a little bit of a mess. But New Lights colorway here. Blue, white, introducing this new outline swoosh that we saw when it came out. Pretty flashy colorway, and it was on pitch for a long time. How would you rate this?
I think that was a good one. It broke the streak of like the pinkish, orangish, reddish launch colors for Mercurials that seem to have become a trend. Really nice. I can't remember very many comments saying that they didn't like it as a launch color, which is pretty rare for any football boot, let alone a Mercurial. I think that was strong. I'm going to give that one an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10?
I think so. I think it's a strong colorway.
Yeah, I would actually go 8.5 out of 10, just because I like the way the graphics worked with it and the shiny effect on the Nike skin coating. I think that is an 8.5. Then we have the first Mercurial Dream Speed. What do you reckon here?
A lot of haters on that one.
It's out there.
Yeah, and also I've heard there was 1 or 2 comments I saw on my channel. I wish I could shout out the name, but I don't have it on hand. They did point out that because I've made a video or 2 talking about the next gen Mercurials that we've seen some pros training in. And that, as a blueprint, looks to be pretty similar to what the next Mercurial looks like, which is kind of interesting that they've more or less teased it in a colorway that came out so long ago. I think it's very cool. I like the whole kind of almost deconstructed look that colorway has. I would give it I'm going to give that one an 8 out of 10 as well, because they also use colors that you don't normally see on a football boot and made it look good, which I think is hard to do.
There's just something about this, and especially the toe swoosh, that didn't resonate as well with me. But the whole blueprint thing is really cool, and I'm not sure if it's actually a shout out to the next Mercurial, which obviously I can't speak that much about. But it just seems to me that these are the cutouts on the inside of or on the liner on the inside of this generation of Merc. But yeah, really cool. The whole Mbappe top speed 44.7 kilometers an hour was a little bit of a stretch for me. So I would say 7.5. You said 8, right?
I said 8 again. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. There's gonna be lots of 8s coming from you today, I guess. Mercurial Dream Speed 2. It was inspired by the speed of light. And actually really cool, the story behind the boot. I don't think it was ever official from Nike, but I looked into this, like the color gradient on the outsole, and I found out that it looks a lot like the spectrum of light, the color spectrum of light. So we have all the colors in the light spectrum, and it's inspired by speed of light, so it makes sense. I dig this more than the first Mercurial Dream Speed. So I'm going to give this an 8 because it's also a little bit out there. But the inside, the instep looks amazing, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it looks good. I'm never a huge fan of the neon colorways. I prefer the original MDS. I'd give that a 7.
A 7?
7. That's a 7 for me. We're going to disagree here, Jay. We're going to disagree. Don't worry.
Wow, I forgot.
And the people seem to like it.
I forgot that I have taste and you don't. Anyway, let's see. Mercurial Dream Speed 3. Well, sorry guys, it's just looking for all the boots. There's a lot on our tables here. So Mercurial Dream Speed 3. I'm just gonna go on record and say that I am surprised if we don't end up having this somewhere in the high top 10, maybe even top 5. I think this is it's a smash hit.
Yeah, it's really nice. Good details. I like what they did with the Nike swoosh is kind of a cool little element where it's semi-translucent. All the patterns look good. It's a 9 out of 10 for me.
I agree, yeah. I definitely agree. So then we have the Neymar Jogo Brismatico. If there are any Portuguese-speaking people out there, I do apologize for that pronunciation. That was probably rubbish. But this one, his last Nike signature colorway, and actually it came out not too long before he never really wore it. No, he wore it a couple of times in like the AG Pro version, but yeah, he got a new logo and all on this boot, and then he moved to Puma. But I mean, I thought at the time when I saw it that it was like really good. But now looking at all the other boots on the table, I'm like a little bit like, it's not bad, but it's not fantastic either. What are your thoughts?
That to me, looking back at all the Mercurial colorways, it looked really, really good and flashy in like the promo pictures Nike put out, where like the colors were like super saturated and it just had this like good vibrancy about it. In person, it's not as vibrant, I find. I don't know. It's a decent colorway. I'm not into the whole kind of rainbow thing that they went for. It's a 7 out of 10. It's not bad.
No, it's not bad, but it's not fantastic either. And in order not to only give like 7s and 8s, I've gone down to a 6.5. I think it's one of those colorways that I am not, catches your eye, but when you look at it, it's a little bit, it's not as fantastic. Just right now, you said 7, right?
Yep.
Okay, so the next one is kind of, I don't really know what to make of this Terra pack. Because when you see it from afar, it actually looks really, really good. And it's one of those boots that I think this is the only boot to actually have that earth graphic on the heel. It's a little bit stuck in between so we've had 3 generations of like Mercurial designs, right? On the inline colorway. So we've had this one, which is still the launch design. Then we had the Future Lab that introduced a new one, and finally the one that was introduced with the Neighborhood Pack, I think with the lightning swoosh. I think this looks really cool. That earth gray is very nice, but it's also a little like the whole green, light purple-ish on the bottom. I'm not too sold on, so 8 for me.
Yeah, I'm with you on. I really like the light tan color that they went for. Again, trying to do something kind of weird. I think the missed opportunity there is not going for like an orange accent, because I think immediately when I saw those, I thought of was it the zinc colorway of the Vapor 3?
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's not quite the same shade for the main color of the upper, but I think an orange accent might have been really cool. The kind of Hulk colors, I'm not sure makes a lot of sense in the long term. It's a pretty good attempt at using such a weird combination of colors. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Oh, 7?
Yeah, because I don't like the pattern that the like earth pattern that they did around the heel. It's not very clear as to what it is, in my opinion.
Okay, I'm gonna give that to you. Now this next one, I expect you to go high, because you have said things in the past that if you don't rate this high, let's just see what you say.
Yeah,
the Neymar Speed Freak.
Excellent. I think that's one of the best colorways of this current generation of Mercurials for me. I like the positioning of the swooshes, especially on the medial side. Just looks sick. I love the checkered pattern that they went with. It's a very cool, fast looking colorway. Chrome, very underutilized in Mercurials in general. I'm going to give it a 10. It's a 10 for me. Like, wow. I just think it's good. It's good. And it's a Neymar colorway. So all the people that say I'm a Neymar hater, I just rated a Neymar colorway a 10 out of 10. So. But
that's only because he's gone Puma now, so you're kind of safe. It's like, wow, okay. Are you... Okay, and be honest here. Are you giving it a 10 just to prove a point that you're not mad at Neymar?
No. I genuinely think that's a very good colorway.
Honestly, I agree, but I think 10 is a little bit too strong. I'm gonna go 9.5 because this is genuinely one of the best. So 9.5 from Jay, and Josh is going 10 out of 10. Right, next one is the CR7 China. It says here, I'm thinking Jack Yang is thinking of the Shuai, the blue, basically reminiscent of the New Lights, but just with all the CR7 or the Chinese signs on it. I don't know what they say, really.
You muted yourself.
Oh, I muted myself. There we go.
I can hear you now.
Sorry about that. I'm swapping screens here. CR7 Shuai. I believe you have that, Josh.
Oh, I have those. Sorry.
Yeah.
I guess that
Technical
would have made
difficulties.
these ones. Okay, this was a weird one. And I saw a lot of mixed opinions on them. It's not ugly, but it's not my thing. It's just I don't know. This to me is like a 6 out of 10.
I see what they're trying to do, and I don't think it's necessarily bad either. But what I didn't like about it was that it was so close to the New Light's execution. And I understand, they had a lot of blue fly in it. What are we going to do about it? Let's put it on a boot. But I think it could have stood out a little bit more. So I'm going to go 6 out of 10. Might be a little... I hung up. I'm really bad with computers. I'm just going to call Josh again. And see, this is what happens when you talk on the phone, and he's probably talking as well. Yo, my man, I'm sorry. I'm terrible with... I'm running like a multiple setup here on the same screen in order to try and record our what did we? I gave it a 6. You gave it a what?
I gave it a 6 as well.
Okay, I can't hear you. 6.5. 6.5.
89 episodes in, you think we'd be doing a better job?
Wow. It's just my fingers are just all over the place. I'm like muting myself and hanging up. And you said 6.5, yeah?
6.
6. Okay.
Straight up 6.
Both of us. I'm not gonna touch this. And I'm still recording. Good. Apologies for that, guys. You don't want to be like 16, 17 minutes in and just figure out you all of a sudden stopped audio recording or hung up. Oh, Jesus. Anyways, next one up, we have the Future Lab ones, which was also, I reckon, on pitch for quite a while. These what do you call this color in English, Josh?
I would classify that as a pink. It's got an orangish tinge to it, depending on the lighting, but I definitely call those pink.
Would you say this has an orange tinge to it?
Yeah, definitely an orange tinge. But if
Really?
I'm wearing those boots, people are going to say those are pink, in my opinion.
Yeah, but they're not like Mbappe Rosa pink. Like this is what I would think about as like a pink boot. If we just look at it, and for me, this is more like a pinkish red, some sort of like cherry. Is it cherry, this one?
It's hard to say. I think cherry's more red to me. That's definitely trending into the pink area.
Right. Okay.
As far as
But
colors
what do you
go.
say? This was like the first, should we say, visual update of the Merc, the Vapor 13.
Yeah,
where we had that new.
I think it was a
checkered
really
graphic.
good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had the new graphic really reminded me of the Neymar colorway that I like so much.
Yep.
Again, the pink boot thing, that color in general is not really my thing in terms of actually playing in them, but I can appreciate that it's a good color for a Mercurial. I think that's an 8.5 out of 10. And it was a very popular one as well. Yeah, I think it was really good.
Really popular. I'm gonna go 8. I think it's nice without being spectacular. And I think an 8 is like a good way to go. You said 8.5, right?
Yeah.
Then we had Future Lab 2, which was a white boot with the same reddish swoosh and the black checkered graphics on the heel. See, I like this.
Yeah, I like those too. I feel like I liked them a lot more when they first came out.
Yeah, I agree.
I like them less now. Right? I don't know. I just like them less now.
I saw them the first time. I was like, oh man, this is amazing. And then it just hasn't aged well, I think.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking of like all the other white colorways that we're going to have to talk about. And I think this might be the weakest of the white ones.
Yeah, you might be right. And, putting this up against the Mercurial Dreamspeed 3 it's not kind to the Future Lab 2. That was a weird pack in general.
Yeah.
Like it also had that laser, was it laser 3 green Phantom Vision and Phantom Venom? And it's just not, that was...
Yeah, a little strange. A little strange. I still think it's a strong colorway though. So anything lower than a 7, I think is kind of unfair.
Okay.
I'm going to say 7.
I'm going to say 7.5. Because I think it's actually a little better than average. Okay, then we have an interesting one. Do you have the Flash Crimson boots, Josh?
The Flash Crimson.
Because you said like, speaking of white, that is not the Flash Crimson.
That's not the Flash Crimson.
That's the black chili red.
Flash Crimson.
That's the white with the. I can go get the Flash Crimson if you want.
Which one's the Flash Crimson?
That's the white with like the blue and red swoosh.
Oh,
I can get it.
Yeah, I have them somewhere. Okay,
you probably do.
This is a really good one, so it's important that we have it. For those that are watching the podcast, what ended up happening right before we were doing this is we had this list to go off of, and we were both responsible for grabbing X amount of colorways. Clearly, we missed a couple.
Yeah. Okay. Flash Crimson. See, this is another colorway that when I saw it the first time, I was like, "Oh man, this is wow, that's a home run."
I really like this. This was the Mercurial colorway that was most affected by COVID.
Yes,
because it really the launch got completely screwed up because this was supposed to be for the Olympics. No.
It was, yeah. And it launched in early summer and then came out somewhere in September.
That was weird too. So the US, like North America, got it early summer. You guys didn't get it until like September or something.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, so you got it. You could actually buy it.
We had it right away. Yeah. It was very weird. And I don't know. I just really like that colorway. I know there's a lot of haters of the lightning bolt Nike swoosh. I love the fade. I like how the sole plate kind of has the fade from left to right. That's something we don't see all that often. Even the little swoosh on the medial side just looks great with the color gradient.
I agree.
To me, this is a 9 out of 10 colorway. I really like it.
I like it even more. I'm actually gonna go 9.5. I think this is one of the strongest Mercurial colorways we have seen so far, especially because I really like the third graphic update of this. And I think it was it the first to introduce that? Did this come out before the neighborhood pack? Technically,
it would have been. Yeah. It wasn't the first to actually become available to buy, but in terms of unveil, I think it was.
Yeah. This one, I'm interested in hearing what you think. Next one on Jack Yang's list is the future Dna Superfly one.
Oh, that's a good one too. See, that's the one you just forget about it, but there's so many good ones.
Are you seriously?
I just forgot. I'm trying to think. I'm like, there's 28 of these things. I got to try. How many can I remember? That's one that it didn't come to mind, but that's really good. See, but I will say that when I was a kid when this generation of Mercurial came out, and I intentionally did not buy that colorway of the Vapor 5 because that colorway of the Superfly never came out, which does make the future Dna version kind of that much cooler because they modeled it off the Superfly rather than the Vapor. But even at the young age, 13, 14 years old, I didn't like the orange ones that much. I always thought it was weird to combine the orange, the silver, and the kind of like purple.
I'm going to stop you. You call this orange?
That's definitely orange. Come on. That's 100% orange.
Okay.
What color is that?
What do you call this then?
Well, that's also orange. That's orange, but trending towards yellow.
This is, I would say this is red, man, but I don't know about it.
No, Jay, we're not doing this right now, but okay. This is a red box. See this? This is a Puma red box.
Yes.
Here's an OG. I guess they're pretty close, eh? But these are definitely orange. I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, we're not doing it right now. Let's leave it at that. But anyway, yeah, you said the whatever main color and then chrome and navy.
They're still cool. It's still a 9.5 out of 10 just because it's so well executed and it looks so much like the OG.
To me, I'm just going to put it right there. This is probably, it's the first 10 I'm going to give. And I don't know if it's going to be the only one, but it's like, just looking at some of the other colorways here on my desk, I am struggling to find a better one than this because it not only looks good, I think it almost makes the design look better than it did on the original Superfly because it's a little bit sleeker. It looks a lot like the original, and there's just so much history. And as you said, the fact that the Superfly wasn't really available to buy back in the day makes this so much cooler. We can actually finally get to wear this design in a wearable boot because the first Superfly also kind of sucked. So 10 out of 10 for me, just because it looks good and there's so much history and emotion in it. Okay.
That's fair.
Another boot that I am a little bit torn on, the Singles Day that came out in 2019. See, this is orange. Now, that's almost peach, but...
What? Peach and orange aren't the same color? We can't be talking about... Orange can't be one specific shade. It has to be a spectrum.
I know, but peach and orange are kind of close, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I would classify peach as orange, but we're not having that conversation. Episode 90 will be about colors. just not colorways, just straight up colors. We'll be debating the rainbow.
Let's go through the Mercurial Dream Speed 2 and just like talk the entire color palette and see where that takes us.
Yeah.
That should be a fun one.
Okay, so that for me is a colorway that when I saw the unveil, I'm like, I don't really like those. Then I saw them in person. I'm like, oh, they look a lot better than I thought they would.
And then you see them.
I'm not in love with them.
Which is funny because it's a Singles Day boot. That was a good pun. Was that intentional?
Not at all.
Okay. Well. I also, when I saw it, I was like, oh, but yeah, it's a black, white, orange boot. But then when you see them on the pitch in pictures and video and stuff, I think it looks really strong because we have all these little all the yarns, and especially the high tenacity yarns in there are actually the same kind of orange. So it gives a little bit of life in the upper. It's not just a black upper, really strong, I feel. Makes that original Mercurial heel graphic pop and does it justice. 9 out of 10 for me. Wow.
Oh, that's high. I was going to go 7.5. So I think that might be our biggest spread so far in scores.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, 9. That was a little high. I'll go 8.5. It's not that spectacular. Then something truly spectacular. The Mbappe Rosa.
Really good. Look, people have been waiting for this one for a long time, and now that it's been out for a little bit, I think there is some fair criticism to be made that they didn't stay as true to the original design as I think they maybe should have. The detailing on the heel, I'm not sure that I agree with. At first, I wasn't upset about the lightning bolt swoosh. Now I kind of like, you know what? Maybe it shouldn't have had that. But man, they're really good looking. And it's, again, I'm not a pink boots guy, but those were the pink boots back in the day. It was such a good commercial. I'm disappointed they didn't remake the commercial with Mbappe. That would have been cool. Yeah. But again, I assume COVID maybe had some impact on that.
Probably did, yeah.
But very nice. It's a 9.5 for me.
That's high. I would say that, I'm also going to give it, I'm going to go high. I'm going to go 9, simply because of, those little details that were, it's just a little bit too much of a modern interpretation rather than just like, as they did on the future DNA, is just like taking the old design and making it fit more or less 1-to-1, right? So I am going to go 9. You said 9.5, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. Now, Josh, another signature boot that came out basically around the Mbappe boots. We did a lot of signature boot videos at Unisport right there. Sancho, the Sancho Source boots, and I believe you have them.
I have them right here.
That's a wild football boot, man.
Yeah, this is probably the most committed signature colorway that Nike's done this generation of Mercurial. Like in terms of the most custom elements.
Is that when you say committed, is that a nice way of saying weird, or is it like...
No, but there's clearly a lot of effort that went into this Nike skin top layer. They're mismatched boots. They took the effort of doing this debossed Megs branding and then the other thing on the other foot. This is the only colorway that had this cool kind of fade in, fade out color on the stud plates. They customized this thing on the collar. Even the shape of it is different than a normal Mercurial. They just did a lot here.
And you got that Sancho Source hang tag, which was pretty cool as well.
Yeah, it's a good colorway. It was more popular than I thought it was going to be, and I think it's maybe more so hype around Sancho as a player in general. And I question whether or not this got kind of picked up on reseller radars, thinking that it's going to go up in value or something like that.
Probably.
To me, I look at this and I look at that messy colorway of the Nemesis that came out right around the same time, and everybody hated those, but for some reason loved these. And I kind of viewed them as variations of the same thing. These were a little nicer.
Yeah. I agree. The Sanchos are nicer, and it's like I understand the concept, and I think it's nice, but it's just a little bit too much poor man's Into the Spider-Verse execution. That's what I'm like. It looks amazing. It
seems like it's made for kids.
Yeah, and it looks amazing with the England away kit. Like, absolutely outstanding. But that's the only thing it looks good with. And like with the Dortmund kit, I'm actually down to a 6.5 because of the Sancho sauce.
That's really low. Oh,
yeah, I don't.
Wow.
I don't like them. I'll be honest.
People are gonna be mad at you for that.
Too old. Sorry.
I'm gonna go 7. Because I like them.
I like them also overall. Low.
I know, but it's a little higher than you. So if you're gonna get mad at him.
Okay, we move on. The first Techcraft boots, and I dug those out. I think when these came out, we both, or maybe it was just me, we both called them the best Techcraft boots Nike had ever made. I think I did at the time, right?
I can't remember what I said.
You probably did because you just...
Maybe I agreed with you.
Yeah, you probably saw the sense in my statement, and as always... I don't know why I said that. But a really, really good football boot. Like they went back to the roots and basically just gave us a kangaroo leather upper. No nonsense. Kangaroo leather upper had a little bit of that debossed texture from the New Lights pack, the graphics we saw in that. Debossed into the upper, and it was just leather and a liner, and that was it. Like normal standard, basically Vapor 11 style tongue, which I appreciated a lot at the time, and it's just fantastic football. Rubbish in terms of durability, but like a big joy to play in. And that whole, it really had like a Techcraft look with that brown Nike swoosh. Loved it.
Yeah, I really like when they do the laser cut etching. But looking back on that colorway, while I think it looks much better in person than it does in pictures, the thing about the texturing that they went with to try and mimic the look of the Flyknit is, now that I'm looking at it for the first time in a while, you know what it reminds me of? You know when you buy like a really cheap pair of football boots and the liner is that like nylon? You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? It's like, it's almost slightly rough. That's what that looks like to me.
You're right.
It just looks, and I'm also comparing it to the second gen Techcraft, which we're about to talk about, and I just don't think it looks as good. This is a 5 out of 10 visually for me. It's not that interesting.
5?
Yeah, I don't think it's that good looking.
So 2 full points lower than the Sanchos.
Yeah, I don't think it's an attractive football boot.
What are you smoking? Okay. I'm gonna give this a 7. It's okay. Like you gave it a 5.
I think it's a 5.
Why are you so mad all of a sudden? Then there's the second generation. Let's please agree that this is much better. Yeah, okay, good.
Much better. Okay. Much better.
This is inspired by the first Nike Premier. We also, of course, saw the remake, and I think it's actually slightly more inspired by the remake, the Premier 94 that came out, and was it 2009, where it highlighted those yellow accents that were not as wasn't as present on the original Premier. It was more like just a yellow greenish tinge, but really strong. And the fact that they made it work with leather on top of Flyknit, and still made it super soft and gave us the high tenacity yarns, lockdown, little, that bold Nike lockup on the heel. It looks classy, it looks classic, but still super, super fast with that lightning swoosh. Winner.
Yeah, that's a good one. Leather looks super premium. I like the lightning bolt swoosh. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the brown and blue Euro Mercurials from way back when. Would have been cool. Nike, if you're listening to the 89th episode of the Boot Nerds podcast,
I'm sure they
approximately 33 minutes in, we would like a remake of those brown and blue Euro Mercurials. That would be sick. That colorway for me though, 8.5 out of 10. Really nice.
I have gone 9 out of 10. I think it's really good.
You know what? I'm going to bump it to a 9. I agree with you. It's that good.
Yeah. It's actually that nice. Then we come to the Daybreak Pack, which is actually the current inline pack.
Yeah, a lot of pros are still wearing it for sure.
Yep. And when I saw this at first, I was like, "This is outstanding." This whole new split with the white and the lighting swoosh. I think, as I said before, I think this is the strongest graphic generation of the current Mercurials. Really, really powerful. Good colors in general. Lightning swoosh pops. I love the way it like rolls into the as many of the colorways have done, rolls into that stud, the arrow track spine. Now I think this is good. I think this is really, really nice actually, and a little bit more clean than let's say the first and second generations. This to me is an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say about that colorway is that they're kind of bringing back the styling like we saw with the future DNA. It's kind of the similar graphic style to what we had on the 5th and 6th generation of Mercurial Vapor and Superfly. But they've done it in such a way where I think it actually looks good, where it kind of looks almost, and it has a lot to do with the silhouette changing so much compared to what it was back then as well. But it's clean. It flows very nicely. It's an 8 out of 10.
8? Okay. Then what should have been the Euro 2020 pack from Nike, the neighborhood pack, or the Yeezy pack, if you want to call it that, as some people also did. Some idiot in Canada, I think I mentioned it a few times in this video. But I think this is actually also pretty interesting. As you said with the Speed Freak, Chrome always works on Mercurial, right? And you have some of the same colors, bold little, small Nike swoosh here, lightning swoosh on the toe. Big one on the inside. I think that looks absolutely cool. And all the little references to small-sided pitches, football hotbeds, so to speak, over the world. This is a nice look. I think it's a really, really strong color. Maybe the tooling is a little bit dull. Could have had like accent colors there instead of just flat chrome, but
yeah. I think that's another colorway that I like it less now than I did originally. And now when I look at it, I feel like that stripe almost makes the boot look very boxy. It looks the least slim out of all the Mercurials from the side profile, in my opinion. And I also think, as cool as the instep is with that big swoosh, it does not match at all what's happening on the other side. Like it almost looks like it's two halves of a football boot that aren't supposed to go together.
I never thought about that.
I don't know.
But you know what? That's actually fair. That's actually fair.
And I'm also never like, there's a lot of like team small swoosh, team big swoosh. I'm not usually on either team. I don't love the positioning of the small swoosh.
No?
I don't know. It looks chunky for a Mercurial
for me, it
for
looks
whatever
a little,
reason.
It looks a little, actually, this looks like an American football boot. Like the handegg stuff.
Yeah.
Or a football cleat, I think they call it over there. Okay.
Look, because I think with that boot, because the colorway pack was so consistent across the board, by far the best looking one with that stripe was the Venom, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, the Venom.
I just think it suited the stripe really well. The Merc's not so much. I'm going to give that a 6.5 out of 10 because it does have cool details and I like the color combo.
Okay, I've given it 7.
Okay.
Next one is the one you brought that you thought was the Flash Crimson. That is the Black Chili Red.
Got it right here.
It's a black boot with a red swoosh.
It's extremely boring in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think it's boring, but it's also like it's slick. That's what it is.
Yeah, like it's not bad. I don't like this accent color. I think it's like Nike seems to really like using these colors that are like in between orange and red. Mm-hmm. Like make it straight up red or make it straight up orange or do blue or something that is like more recognizable as a color that, because I think that when you do a colorway like this, Jay, like if this was black and just regular red, now you have all these people like, hey, I play for a team that wears a red kit and I want these boots that are going to match really nicely.
I get you, yeah.
This doesn't match anything. This is just this weird shade.
Is this the Neymar of all the Nike Mercurials? That red?
I don't know. I don't care for it. It's a very bland effort in my opinion.
Okay, I reckon it looks kind of nice. I mean, it's just like it's toned down. It's kind of stealthy, but with a little bit of pop in here and there. 7.5.
Oh, that's too high. This is a 5.5.
5.5. Wow, man.
It's just uninspired. Like this is like I made this on Nike ID in 25 seconds.
You're such a weird guy sometimes. Like, okay.
It's what it is.
Then we have the Safaris. You also gonna kill those?
No, these are pretty good. I'm on board with these.
Yeah, same.
Good detail. I'm still upset about the prevalence of the chevron arrows that are kind of there apparently, but almost impossible to see. I've had people argue with me that like I'm blind because I don't see it. I'm sorry. It's if it's there, it is almost impossible to see.
I'll put it this way. I can kind of tell where they are. It has like a slight glossy effect on the silicone coating, but you have to look against the light to kind of see them. And it's like when you just look at a boot from a side point of view, you don't really see it. And it was easier to spot on the original Safari. So that's a little bit of a letdown for me. And maybe the swoosh is a little bit too big.
Yeah, I would argue it seems slightly large. They should have gone for more of a mimic of the graphics on the OG.
Yes,
which they didn't do as well.
And I also think that the fact that the tooling, at least like they did on the future DNAs, it should have been black instead of like because to give you that Superfly carbon fiber tooling feeling. It might not have been black all the way through, and I accept that, but you know, it's very good, but could have been just slightly better. So for me, this is an 8.5.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. 8.5, I think, is a fair rating because they did commit with the laces.
They did, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Safari print is always cool. Let's just put it like that. But you can apparently screw it up. They didn't screw it up, but you can make it less awesome. Okay, then we have the South Korea White Tiger, which I don't have. I've actually never seen it in my hand.
Right here.
See, those are pretty cool, but also I remember liking them way more when they dropped than I do now.
I kind of agree with you on that, but now that I'm holding them in my hands again, it's a really cool colorway. Like this is one of those colorways that I can't compare it to anything else. And that's hard to say about a lot of Mercurial colors because clearly they release more than we can even remember. And this is very memorable because of the distinctiveness of it.
Agreed.
I still wish that the stripes would have just been straight up black rather than this kind of really dark blue. And that's, I think, one of the big differences you'll notice once you see them in person. Yeah. The matte finish, even though it's a wearable finish on the stud plates, very nice looking in person. I like that it's translucent and you can see the stripes underneath it.
It's the same as the CR7, right? CR7 Safari.
Similar.
I think it has that oil slick like translucency.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, but similar. Yeah.
I wish that they had taken the swoosh and not split it in half and just made it red all the way through.
Yeah, that's true too, because it kind of hides the lightning. Like it does actually have the lightning stripe, but you can't really see it because of that transition point. And I also think the flag should have been on here. I know they went with their logo instead, but I think the flag on here would have been a cool touch somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, where we at? I'm thinking 8.5. Because it's unique, but it's like 8.
I'm a 9 on this one. I really like them.
Oh,
I'm a 9. I'm up there with these.
Okay, fair enough.
Also, wait. Well, one, the laces have the stripes, but it also has a pretty epic. The insole.
Okay, that is pretty good. That's almost like an extra half point in itself.
That's a good. I might bump it up to a 9.5 because there's just so many cool details on these. I'm gonna go 9.5. I think they're not nice.
I'm gonna go 8.5 just because of the insole. That's pretty.
Okay, pretty good.
Now, based on how you slated the black chili red pack, I'm interested in seeing what you say to the Wavelength pack, which is the black with like the blue accent.
I have that right here. These are very different.
Yes.
This is another one. This is one of those colorways that you kind of have to see in person to appreciate. Because even I'm looking at it in the camera right now from this distance, and it looks like a glossy black boot with a chrome blue swoosh. But then when I put it up close, you can see it has this like oil slick rainbow effect. It's extremely like, this is about as flashy as a black boot can be. And I think that the chrome blue that they've used is a pretty cool shade. I like the simplicity of this graphic where they didn't include really anything. Well, they technically did include the little dots in the heel, but because it's black on such a dark color, you don't see it. So it just ends up looking very clean and simple. This is a really nice, one of the nicer black boots that we've gotten from Nike. I'm going to go 8.5 out of 10.
Wow. I didn't see that one coming. I'll be honest, I think it's, I like the way, I like that it's flashy, but I don't really like that cyber blue thing as much as the chili red. So I'm going to stay on 7.5, just like I did for chili red.
Okay, that's fair.
Another boot that is a little bit, has a lot of life to it when you actually look at it is the Kinetic Black colorway, which also has a little bit of like, I don't know if you can see it, a little bit of like, there's a little bit of life. It's like almost like a purple vibe in the Nike Skin film on top. But other than that, it's like it's a black boot. I think it's slightly better if we bring this in the under the radar, which is just like completely. It's just
straight black.
Just straight black. I think Kinetic Black is a little nicer because it's a blackout, but it has a little bit of like color play in it. But Kinetic Black for me is like 7.
Yeah, I'm with you on that 7 because it's not that interesting, but it is at least somewhat of a variation on just a blackout.
Then we have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mbappe Bondi boot. Do you have that?
Which you have. That was on your part of the list. I'm almost 100% sure.
That was on the bottom part of the list, my man.
I swear I asked you if you had those. Do I have them? I don't have them on hand.
You know, I'm a provider, as always. They're up there. I'll go get them. Talk about it.
Okay, you go get them. Well, Mbappe's first real signature boot with his name on it. And I while it was not intended to be a Ninja Turtles boot, I think it was very funny that it ended up looking so Ninja Turtle-y, because I'm sure we've all seen the video of him putting on the gifted Ninja Turtles mask while in the changing room. That was just an epic video. I was just telling the people how funny it is that it ended up looking so Ninja Turtle-y for his first signature when that was never at all the point. But man, they're pretty cool. It's a weird design. With the explanation, it makes a lot more sense. But I think what's most important disregarding all of the storytelling with any signature is that it looks cool. And I think these look cool.
Yes. I'm actually a little bit sad that he didn't get to wear them more because I think they're super strong and the storytelling is strong. They look unique like nothing else we've ever seen. And yet they look super, super fresh. This is actually a pair of boots I would love to rock. For me, this is... I'm not going to go 10, but it's a 9.5. Like so many cool little details here. So many.
I'm with you. 9.5. And that's simply based on the fact that they made something that looks very cool, but also looks unlike anything else we've ever seen before, which is getting harder and harder to do.
Then we have Nuova White, which came out, I think that was actually one of the...
It was near the start.
Yeah, it was very close to the beginning. It's a white material. It's a white out material, and all the young talents wore it because it's Nuovo, new generation, all that stuff, blank canvas kind of stuff, blah blah, cool story, bro. But they're white boots, and I think it's not often that we see a complete white out, and I dig it, and I think these are pretty dope. I'm gonna go 8.5 out of 10.
I'm with you on that 8.5 because I feel bad rating it higher, but I really like how those look.
Why would you feel bad rating it higher?
Because it is so simple, right? Like we're rating. It's like we're gonna give boots with literal tiger stripes super high ratings, and then we're just gonna they're all white. Like,
fair enough. The first limited edition of this generation of Mercurial, the orange. that had like this very special, almost displaced peach-ish logo underneath the black one. I thought it looked kind of cool. When they came out, I thought these were absolutely sensationally good. In hindsight, they're still nice, but I mean, it's not the best thing I've ever seen in my life. But it's up there. I'm gonna go 9 out of 10.
Oh, that's high. Yeah, they're nice. I don't love them as much now as I once did. I'm gonna say 8. 8 out of 10 is where I'm at on those.
Fair enough. We're going to conclude the list with, I think this actually dropped alongside the New Lights pack when the boots were released. Under the radar, it's a blackout. The swoosh has a little bit of like an oil slick finish to it. It's black material.
Quite literally under the radar, you probably forgot about it. But it was nice that they released a blackout pretty much on day one for people that wanted Mercurials but didn't want to wait for the blackout to come out.
Yes.
So it's a 6 out of 10 because it's a blackout. Like what else do you rate it?
I'd say 7. And I think it speaks volumes that it was so under the radar that Jack Yang actually placed it last on his list. It was probably the last boot he thought of.
Definitely the least memorable.
Okay, so you gave it a 6.5. So Josh, your top 3. Let's see if you can remember like what you gave what.
My top 3. I'm going to say it was Future DNA. It was the Neymar boot. In no order. Okay, the Neymar one I rated the highest.
You did, yeah.
I think I had Future DNA up there. I know I had the South Korea at 9.5.
Yes. So, okay, I'm just looking at your list here. You had Neymar Speed Freak. That's your number 1. Then at 9.5, you had Future DNA. You had Mbappe Rosa. You had South Korea White Tiger, and that was it. Oh, Mbappe Bondi as well.
Oh, both Mbappes.
Okay, so top 3 out of those?
Oh, man. Okay, so I got to stick with the Neymar ones. I can't remember the names of any of these things. I'm gonna go with the Neymar ones. I'm gonna go with the Rosas because when I was a kid, when that Vapor 4 came out, that's the only pink football boot I've ever considered wearing in my entire life because I thought they were so cool. And I love that Franck Ribéry commercial. And then I'm gonna go with the South Korea Tiger Stripe ones because I just think that they're so out there and look good at the same time. Those are my 3.
Okay. My top 3 would be, so yours was, my top 3 is Future DNA. That was my only rated 10, I think. Then I have 9 out of 10, the Speed Freaks, very good looking. And I also have the, no, I didn't give him Mbappe Rosa, so I have, are those really the only 3? Bondi?
Yeah, I think Bondi would be your other one.
So I would basically go Future DNA, Bondi, Speed Freak as number 3. We actually agree on something. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty close. For the most part, we agree. We tend to agree on what is the nicer colorways of the bunch.
Exactly. Okay, Josh, speaking of being pretty close, we're also pretty close to closing time today, which means that we're going to skip the questions because we've been talking for ages. We're going to answer a lot of the questions in the next episode. There are a couple of good ones, actually, that I quite enjoyed reading. So stay tuned for those. And also, if you have any other questions or comments about our ratings here, let us know in the comment section right down below. Now, of course, to pat Josh a bit on the shoulder, don't forget to go check out the Pure Grip socks and Pure Sleeves on puregripsocks.com. He's going to be mighty happy and you like to see him smile. So go support his cause. Of course, go subscribe to the Boot Nerds podcast with the notifications on if you haven't done so already. Go follow us at our respective channels over by our heads. And with that said, I have been JayMike and I approve this message. Ciao, Bella.
See ya.